was started as just a one-day thing out of the whole year to celebrate a prominent culture in Onset, well, 16 years later, has grown to one of the biggest festivals in the Cape. We're talking about no other but the Cape Verdean Festival in Onset. Joining me in the studio is Winna Dean of Onset and Anthony Lopes of Onset. Welcome. Now, you're both there when the Cape Verdean Festival started.
Yes.
Back 16 years ago. And I asked Winna, I said, did you envision it being this big?
No, I didn't.
Could you read us a little bit of the mission statement?
That we came up with. Our mission is to promote information and culture about the Cape Verdeans, to connect the descendants of Cabo Verde with the culture and homeland, the Republic of Cabo Verde, to promote a close relationship and wider understanding between the people of the United States and the people of Cabo Verde, to celebrate the origin, history, culture of the immigrants from Cabo Verde, especially in the communities with large numbers of residents with the Cape Verdean heritage.
Well, with that mission statement, very specific, as we heard it. So the Onset Cape Verdean Festival Association, 16 years later, you guys are spearheading one of the largest festivals in the Cape. So congratulations. Let's start with that. Congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
And then let's talk about how it got so big.
Well, prior to 16 years ago, the Cape Verdean Festival was silent for a couple of years because there was no one to carry the tradition on.
Okay.
There was a couple, the Andrades, who initially had the Cape Verdean Festival, but it became overwhelming to them because there's just the two of them trying to get the material and information and all that out. So they stopped, and a couple of young men, Kenny Fons, Larry Senna,
Steve Baptiste Jr.
Steve Baptiste Jr. approached me and said, we want to bring this thing back. And at that point, I said, well, let's do it. And this was like June of 2003. And I coming from California, I arrived and they said, you've done this in California? I said, yes, maybe you can help us. I said, sure, I'd be happy to. Well, I asked, first question I asked was, how much money do you have in the budget? They said nothing. Zero. We had nothing in the budget.
What did they think? These things are free?
Zero. There was nothing to make this thing go. And I said, well, we need to do, first of all, we need X amount of dollars to make this a successful event. And so I said, we need to do some serious fundraising quickly. And then at that point, we knew that we had to reach out to the community and get those people involved to support our adventure. That's really an adventure because we had not done it before here in Onset. So in a period of about 6 weeks, we raised $30,000.
In 6 weeks?
In 6 weeks, $30,000, reaching out to the community, looking for major sponsors, in which we got Bridgewater State University, Make Peace, Cranberry Products, Deacon's Cranberry Products, Eastern Bank, Salerno's, and a couple of others became major sponsors. To be a major sponsor, you had to contribute $1,000 to our project. I want to call it a project. And sure enough, we were able to do that, and that was the beginning of our journey.
And Robert Maxim
And Bobby Maxim
came up with a fantastic idea.
And I'll let you join in. Then we'll talk about our 100 Club, which is taking place soon. Then I'll tell you about the 100 Club.
So Robert Maxim, rest in peace, said, he says, you know, why don't we have a dinner that we call 100 Club? And everybody pays $100, and we have a big dinner and dancing and like that. I said, are you crazy? He said, no. Kicked off. We had it at that time it was the Boat Club, which is right there in Onset, and I mean the people were coming out over the fence, and we raised big money. Till today, we still have this 100 Club which helps support us. As a matter of fact, we're having it Sunday at the Marriott.
Wonderful. Now, Cape Verdeans have a very rich history. Yeah. History in the Cape, in the Wareham, our cranberry bogs. Those were built by Cape Verdeans.
On the back
I'm
of
saying,
Cape
yeah,
Verdeans.
in the back of Cape Verdeans. So touch upon that a little bit so we can cement how important this festival is to our community.
Well, I'm a product of that. My grandparents, when I was young, my grandparents both worked at the cranberry bogs. And it was a family venture when you go to early in the morning on cranberry season. My grandparents would get their children and grandchildren to go to the cranberry bogs, and we just sat around while they did what they had to do, and us younger ones would just bring the empty boxes up to them, and the older teenagers would wheel cranberries once produced off, and like when I just said, cranberry bogs were built on the backs of Cape Verdeans. Now, Cape Verdeans are international. We're all over the world. In the United States, there are over 115 Cape Verdean organizations in the United States, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Like I said, I'm from California. There are 5 Cape Verdean organizations in California. There are some influential people with money, so we've been very successful in California keeping our culture alive. But we have Cape Verdean organizations in Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Toronto, Canada, Texas, you name it. Every state has some form of Cape Verdeans at one another. We just have branched out. But the concentration of Cape Verdeans is New England, right here. And we get tremendous support. We realized when we did this that to make this successful, we needed to reach out to the community. That's why we got the major sponsors. In addition to that, we went to individual businesses. We have business partners. We have individuals donate. We'll take money from anyone to make this go, because our purpose is to provide scholarships to our youth. The youth is our future. We realize that. So we provide close to 10 scholarships to high school students in the area. And then we also provide scholarships to Bridgewater State, because they're Bridgewater being a major sponsor. And at that time, Bridgewater State, the president and vice president were Cape Verdeans at that time. And they were very supportive, and they reached back and gave back. I, like so many people, realize you got to give back. We are a 501c3, so we don't keep the money. We just keep a little so we can start up the following year. However, we believe that we've raised this money and we got to give it back to the community, and that way everybody knows where the money is. We've never had a question about where the money is. We know that we raise the money and we give it back to the community. We provide and have a scholarship affair. We're very proud of the youngsters. The youngsters actually have to work the day of the festival. They hand out programs. They get involved. But that way there we keep them involved. Hopefully they'll come back at some point in their careers and give back.
Now,
and become part of the committee.
Sorry to cut you off, but what was the qualifications, or what are the qualifications to receive this scholarship?
Lynn Spinola, I believe, is the chairperson of this. She goes to all the high schools and gets the application. I was fortunate that my grandson got one scholarship last year, and he's going to Bentley. And he got it, and it goes upon their whole remarks, like any kid gets scholarship, their grades, what they've contributed to society. He was there early, the festival morning, at 7:30, and he left at 12, helping them put up the tents, the flags, and everything. And that was his contribution for saying, thank you for giving me my scholarship, right.
Very good.
And so this is what we try to, bring it into, now even though they live in Middleborough, and he got it from Middleborough High, we felt that everybody in the surrounding area comes and supports our festival. We can't just do Wareham. We've got to reach out, and that's what we do.
My granddaughter
got it
several years ago, she just recently graduated from college in California, and she received a scholarship 4 years ago.
Right.
So you can't discriminate when it comes to scholarships. It's got to be an open-end book. Anyone can apply. And we have many of the students who have won the scholarship, Caucasian kids, and they're not just from Wareham, Bishop Stang, the Cape, whatever.
And they're not necessarily Cape Verdeans.
They're not necessarily Cape Verdeans. So we just say, hey, apply for it. Basically, we try to go on grades, of course, need, obviously. We hope that they will park in our designated areas. And we have parking available at Lopes Field, Heinz Field, and the VFW. And if you park there for a fee, this year is $10. Initially it was
donation,
$5
yeah,
as a
little
donation.
donation.
We provide shuttle service to the event from these three areas. And so it makes it easier for you to get in and get out without much problem. And it's because traffic comes to a standstill in Onset. Like, for example, this year we'll have 4 buses coming in from Connecticut to our festival, from Bridgeport and Waterbury and Hartford. The buses come, and we asked those Cape Verdean groups to drive up into the pier area, drop them off at the pier turnout, and then go and park. They take the buses either to Yoke Grove School and park there, or they go out on Cranberry Highway where Tractor Supply is and park their buses there, where the buses can stay without charge, and at 5:30 return to the pier area to pick up their crew to go back. So much we want it to be a safe environment. That's the key.
It has been.
It's been safe. We've had very little or no problems. If there's problems, it's later in the evening. It has nothing to do with the festival. You know, people will have a good time. But our job is to get them in there and out of there and see that they have an enjoyable afternoon.
Going back to the mission of spreading the culture, teaching the young ones, I take it when you guys were younger, things were different. Mom Cape Verdean, Dad Cape Verdean. You live in a neighborhood where your neighbors are Cape Verdeans. You hear the language. Tiny, you can speak the language. Winna, you can speak the language. You can hear it. You can pick up things here and there. But things have changed, you know, where to the point I have met Cape Verdean students, my fellow students at Bridgewater State University, and they would say I'm Cape Verdean, but they do not know the language and so forth. They're a little bit far removed. And Cape Verdean is in a very interesting place. There are 10 islands, right?
Correct.
So, and each island, I take it, they have their own little spin into the culture and a little dialect. So bringing everybody together and to share the culture, I mean, what part of the culture are we taking back, or what part of culture unifies all these 10 islands?
Well, you know, in our case, I'll take my case as an example. I've been to Cape Verde, and I've been to the island of my grandparents' birth. They both were from the island of Fogo. And so I went back there and I looked up relatives, and I found cousins and aunts and so forth. Cape Verde is a third world country. They have very little. And it's only recently have they sort of reached out or branched out and grown. They now have an international airports in several of the islands. There are people there, Americans, who are investing in Cape Verde, building hotels, going back and building on family property there. Because I don't have personal property, but I have cousins there who live there and said, hey, you want to come over and do something? Feel free to do it, because we don't have anything. And so it makes it it's a commitment to give back too. You know, that's what I'm all about. We are a people who believe in family. We are a people who realize no one's going to put us first but ourselves. We have to generate the interest to keep the culture alive. You cannot just depend on others to do it. If we didn't do this, we'd be assimilated into other races.
It's hard to say, because there are very few younger generations that can say, I'm Cape Verdean, I'm Cape Verdean, I'm blah, 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 blah. There is so much mixing. I'm a Washoe from Mattapoisett, so.
Oh, to me you're a native.
I'm a Washoe from Mattapoisett. My grandparents came. My mother was born here, and my father was born here too. And I have seen, when I moved to Onset, and being from Mattapoisett, it's a very quiet, not that many, you know, we don't have a very good large population. And moving to Onset, I just loved it where I am, you know. And my children now, I feel that they'll ask questions and things like that, but there's not that interest that I am. And I had to learn to speak Creole, like we say, because I had to speak to my grandmother, grandfather.
Yes.
Now, they don't have to do that.
No, they do not have to do
They
that.
don't have to do that.
Anthony, you had a very funny story about your grandmother not able to count, but she will, and didn't speak English, by the way.
All right.
But she will know what money is.
My grandmother would send me to the store to get milk and bread back in the day, and she'd give me, for example, $1. And I'd go and get the bread and the milk and maybe tobacco or whatever she asked me to get. And I'd come home and have 3 or 4 pennies left. And so I'd give her this, and then she'd do this. And I'd say, "Well, yeah, give me the change in Creole." Yeah. So she knew exactly the penny. She was a wise woman. My grandparents had 12 children, 6 boys, 6 girls. And she made my family, of the 12, only the youngest daughter received a high school graduation or a diploma. The rest had to work to help support the family.
Right.
And that was the way it was back in those days. You had to pitch in and carry your load. So, my daughters, fortunate in the later generation, myself included, I'm the first in my family to graduate from college. And we're talking about 12 sisters and brothers and uncles. I was the first. After I went, they all jumped in and went to college. But my 2 daughters, my oldest daughter, who is a professor, administrator at UMass Boston, always said to me and my youngest daughter, "Dad, we're kind of upset with you a little bit." And I says, "Why?" "Because you never taught us the language." They feel very strongly that I let them down by not teaching. They know the Cape Verdean, but they see me talking with other people, and if I'm speaking Cape Verdean, they see most people our generation who learn the language, of course, learn the swear words first. We learned all the bad words, but we didn't learn everything that you should have learned. I can go to any island in Cape Verde, and I've been to 8 of the 10, and I can go to there's slight dialect, but that you can feel the love, and it's all the same.
And in the festival, we talked about the 20 food vendors. Foods are Cape Verdean foods. Majority of the food vendors are cooking Cape Verdean foods. So that's another way for those who have never been to Cape Verde.
People come for the Cape Verdean food. They come with containers. They come with containers for the jag or the manchoop or whatever. Where's the best one? They'll ask me, because I help set up the vendors, and I'll say, well, I know that family there, and I know this family over here. I don't know that family over there. So they'll kind of go off, and I said, just go and check that out. But they come with the containers for their food.
And of course, there was live music there too. They sing in Creole, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of the music itself, we've tried over the years. We have grown as an organization, because we're 501c3, and a lot of us have grown through this process. But many years ago, maybe about 8, 9 years ago, we said, let's get a theme here. And the theme was family unity. And in the process of doing that, we learned that, we have music, we have food, we have camaraderie, and so lots of families now plan their family reunions around this festival.
Yeah.
So then, for the next 2 weeks, starting this weekend until after the festival, Cape Verdeans come to our festival from all over the country. Yeah. This year we'll probably get about 40 or 50 people from California alone who've come. And once you come, you'll come back every year. That's a given. And like I said, we've got people coming in from all over the country this coming 2 weeks.
I work with Mike on the vendors. Yes. Okay, I've been with Mike on the vendor committee from day one. So we're out there at 7 o'clock in the morning. And there already is people, like he was saying, that have got their chairs with signs, Gomes family, setting their claims. This one over here, they'll have maybe Lope's family. So when their family comes, they know exactly where their family, because it gets, you can't even walk through the people. You can't even walk through there. So it does get like that.
Another good thing about this, we have a lot of support from the politicians. In the
Yes,
early days, we had Bonnie Frank, congressman, very supportive of Cape Verde, been to Cape Verde many times. He would come and say good words, he'd bring greetings from the state or from the Senate or whatever. Mark Pacheco hasn't missed a festival in years. And he is, our senator, and we have other people.
And we even have our local ones
We
come.
have local ones. Now the local ones want to because it's an opportunity for them to expose themselves to Cape Verdeans.
Yeah. Now you have toured 8 out of 10 islands of Cape Verde.
Yes.
Would you say the same unity is over there, or people here, Cape Verdeans here, get to unite? Something that maybe they don't experience back at home.
They depend on us. They depend on us for support. They don't have major industries in these islands. Fishing is an industry, gardening is an industry, but they don't have, so they depend on us to send. Most of us send barrels of clothing over there. Clothing, whatever we have, we send there. And they're very appreciative. I know when I've been there, they've always said, oh, thank you so much. We have adopted schools there.
Yes.
We've adopted hospitals there. California, when I was very active in California, we sent wheelchairs there. We would get the stuff to the docks in Providence or in Fall River and send it, ship it, and make sure that this arrives there to the right person. Because if you just send things there, they will take it at the docks. So we make sure that we stay in communication with them. So we're sending 25 barrels of food, clothing, or whatever. And when it gets to the other end, you should have 25 barrels.
The festival is set for August 11th. It's a Saturday, rain date, the 12th. I mean, how easy is it to cancel it on 11th to the 12th?
Let me tell you another quick tidbit. We've done this 16 years, and we have been blessed.
Yes.
With weather. We have held a festival where, we've got people coming from all over, from Connecticut and Providence and outside the area, Boston. And it'll be raining there in their communities, be raining. And they would be pouring. They would call Stevie's restaurant and say, can I talk to somebody about the festival? Is it on or off? Is it on or off? When they say, what do you mean? Well, it's raining in Boston, it's pouring in Providence, it's pouring here, pouring there. And we said, no, it's not. It's nice. Our show is going on.
Yes.
We're in God's country.
And I recalled an incident one time when I was being interviewed, and I said, Tiny, you guys have been blessed with great weather. I said, you need to understand, God is a Cape Verdean woman. And she's not going to pour on our parade. Not our parade. Our parade will not be rained on. And we've had hurricanes go through there.
Yeah.
And it would rain.
The day before.
The day before, it rained that morning, and then I'd get a call from a bus, people in Connecticut. Should we come or shouldn't we come? Why? Well, it's raining here. Well, get on the bus, get the bus here. The show is going on the road.
And they do.
Winna, you brought a little something for us. You brought the Cape Verdean flag, and may you please explain to us what?
No, it goes this way. Oh, this way. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. The bottom blue is the water. The top blue is the sky. The white, I'm trying to stop and think right. The white is what they sacrificed for their peace. The blood that they shared for this peace.
Is it red?
And the 10 stars are the islands.
And yellow. And what would the yellow color represent?
They just did the gold because, with the gold stars
Yes,
and
absolutely.
of the islands. And so it's the blood that they shared for the peace, the sky,
The water.
and the water. I didn't know this. The fellow that did this, Jolly Gonsalves,
Yes.
which is gone now, and I had it. And he says, what do you do with it? He says, you in distress? I said, why? He said, you got it upside down. I said, what do you mean upside down? I didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue. He said,
That's happened
the
on many
biggest
occasions.
side
We
is
put
the
flag
sky.
up on the sky. We put the flag upside
The
down.
sky is the biggest part. If you look out there, he said, what's small? The water, and the sky is the big. I said, oh, yeah, right.
So we've been thinking, how do we get people there? Now we've got too many people there. So
Now you need to downsize a little
stay
bit.
home. But
It's raining here.
Yeah,
It's pouring.
And Onset's not getting any fatter.
we would no. But the bottom line to all that is, people have said, why don't you move it to a bigger spot?
Where?
It wouldn't be Onset.
It wouldn't be yet.
Yeah, somebody said, why don't you take it to the high school? You got more space at Wareham High School. You get big space, but it's not Onset. It started in Onset. It's going to stay in Onset. And
Wow.
as much as we grow, we'll deal with the crowds.
Be careful.
We'll deal with the crowds. We have support from the state police, the Brockton gang units, the Boston gang units, and Wareham and Cape. We have officers that day from all these communities who know their thugs. They know who the bad guys in their community. They see them and they're walking around, some in plain clothes, and these guys who normally cause problems see these guys. Uh-oh, that's my probation officer. I got to behave myself.
Yes.
So we have that kind of support.
Now, I mean, the town is giving you guys a lot of support in order to pull this thing off in peace. But do you get any problems, any negative feedback, complaints?
The only complaint we get from is the people that live in Onset.
Oh.
Because it shuts down their town.
Because, like I said, I kept saying, you know, hey, it's only one day, suck it up. That was my biggest thing until it happened to me.
Yeah, they've accepted
And
it.
I can understand. I say, do your groceries on
You know, we
Friday.
have another key ingredient to all this is one of our major supporters is community events. Community events in Wareham.
Yeah.
And they've given us donations of $5,000. Now people
Big
say,
time,
well,
yeah.
what do you mean? Why is community events giving the festival $5,000? You need to realize the week before and during the week of and all that sort of stuff, this festival generates money for Onset and Wareham. People, you can't get a hotel.
Right now, they book
You
ahead
can't
of
get a
time.
hotel.
Yes.
They book
You
ahead
can't
of
get a
time.
hotel, and you go down to these businesses in Onset, Great Onset area. You know, I mean, they're just swamped that day because of people coming in. And when you come in,
restaurants.
you're buying food, you're buying ice from Mark Anthony's Pizza, you're going to Stashes, you're going here, there, and everywhere, and everybody makes money.
Yes.
Not just the festival.
But the
We have
festival
a-
makes money that goes back to the
Goes back
students
to
in the
the
community.
Yeah,
So
that's
at the end of the
right.
day,
And we haven't
everybody's
just-
benefiting.
We haven't just given money to the students, we've given money to OBA, we've given money to youth programs,
Boys and Girls
Boys
Club.
and Girls Club, the VFW each year gets their
gets
share.
share, yeah.
So we support our community organizations, so it's not about just us. We give back, and I think that's critical, that's the important thing. And no one's ever questioned where the money goes in
Yeah.
terms of that. I'll leave it here, but that's the bands who will be playing. We try, like I said, we try to promote young entertainers. For example, we have Teddy Matthews there, who's a local product. And I guess he was almost an American Idol.
He was on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So
Okay.
he's
Almost,
almost.
probably.
And then we have the band. Kalubana is from Brockton. And we have a New Bedford band this year, and we have a Boston band. So we have bands from all over. And we've had singers from all over the country. We've had singers from California who've joined the bands. And this year, the girl who's there to on my left here, Goody Duarte, is from Kissimmee, Florida. She's coming up and she's singing. So people want to come here because they get exposures and they're able to sell their CDs that day.
Well,
music stays alive.
with both of you, Winna Dean and Anthony Lopes, I'm sure the Cape Verdean culture is not going anywhere. Not here in Onset anyways.
Well, as long as our legs keep going like Tiny.
You'll be here forever, Winna.
Tiny.
Not in our time. So my last bit to the audience is come early, bring your blankets,
Come
bring
early.
your whatever. Enjoy the festive, buy the food, support our vendors because the vendors pay for their spots. Support the vendors, buy the food, enjoy your friends and family, meet new friends. Every year I meet somebody I haven't seen for 40 years.
Yes.
Every year I meet somebody. Well, I remember you from 1960. I said, boy, that's dating me. I remember you in high school. I hadn't seen you since high school. I said,
Yes.
really? Well, so you meet people who're coming back to their roots. It's all about coming back to your roots and sharing.
Thank you for both of you for coming to our
Thank you for
studio
having us.
and to share about the Cape Verdean Festival.
Thank you.
To my viewers, thank you for joining me in another episode of The Official Report, filmed right here at WCTV Studio with me, your host, Queen Banda. And joining us for this particular show was
Yes.
the Queen of Onset, Winna Dean.
think so.
The Queen of Onset, Winna Dean, and Anthony Lopes. Also kind of the King of Onset, but you left us and you come back yearly.
I'm here every
Every year. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye, and do not forget to go to the
Thank
Cape
you.
Verdean
Thank you.
Festival.
Come and enjoy the